but one thing you will love is the rasp of the wonderful Hamilton propeller on the front end of an R985 Wasp radial engine, 9 cylinders, and the tips go almost supersonic. Please welcome the Breitling Wingwalkers. If you look very carefully, you'll see these incredibly athletic girls are stretching everything out, arms and legs, and they're doing that in the face of a wind around about 150 miles an hour.
Those girls today, George, we've got Emily Gilding on the lead aircraft, Florence Rolleston-Smith as number 2, and Nikita Salmon number 3. And Emily is part of a duo of sisters who are members of the team. It's Emily's 3rd year as a Breitling Wingwalker, the first season though in which she's been a lead Wingwalker. Her younger sister Stella joined the team first. She's been on it since 2009. Emily saw her perform, thought, I'll have a bit of that, and she took one of the vacancies. They come from quite varied backgrounds, the Wingwalkers. Emily's a geography graduate who works for an environmental consultancy. Florence, meanwhile, the newest member of the team, who joined in April this year, first saw them displaying during the Red Bull Air Race at Ascot last summer, and she knew that being a Wingwalker was the job for her. She's a dancer and she's keen on fitness and adventure.
And Fitz, you have to be as well as courageous and brave, because to stand on top of that wing, I tell you what, is not for the faint-hearted. Flying it is also quite a task. As you can see, some of their visibility is a little bit restricted, and they have to look up and they have to fly safely because they're carrying, you can see, a passenger on the wing. But again, this is not for the faint-hearted. It takes hours and hours of preparation to fly these aircraft, and they get to do it by some neat little modifications, like an extra pair of ailerons on the wings as well, just to help them through it. But they're going to go uppity up, they're going to go down, 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 they're going to go inside out, and those girls really are going to walk around the wing.
Nikita, the 3rd of the girls on the wing, has been with the Breitling Wingwalkers since 2013. She's a psychology and sociology graduate of Cardiff University. She comes from a bit of an aviation family. Her parents were both in the RIAT. Her father currently flies for an airline. Nikita, believe it or not, is a newly qualified teacher.
Yes, there's no denying their talents, actually, a wide range of talents amongst all of them, and it's very, very competitive. You don't just walk into this team, there's quite a selection procedure, and an awful lot of people would like to do it. And that same goes very much for the pilots, although leading the team as the chief pilot, Martin Carrington, he's got somewhere in the region of 8,000 hours now, and he's just had so much fun leading this. Dave Farrell also with the team. Now, Dave is an interesting guy. Used to run a garage over in Essex, so if you had a dodgy motor, he was the man to get an MOT from. How about that?
They've changed formation now into stack, and I think if you look closely, the girls have taken advantage of the swivelling rig on the top of the wing, and they're now upside down. As they come past, the number 3 pilot in the team is Steve Higgs, an ex-RAF fast jet pilot on the Harrier and Jaguar, and today his day job is on a flying machine somewhat different to the steerman we see here. He's a training captain for British Airways on the Airbus A380.
Now there you got the first sound of the rasping from those fabulous propellers and engines on the front of these. Now the early steamers, of course, weren't as heavily powered as these aircraft. They flew with a much more underrated Lycoming engine, but nonetheless with a stalwart of the training world. And keep your eyes peeled. Look, the girls are now actually lying down sideways on the wings.
It's a fantastic operation. Aerobatic, the operating company of the Breitling Wingwalkers, based, as I said, at Wrentham, not far from here. And the Wingwalkers really do display all over the world. They go on some very long international tours. In the winter of 2015 into 2016, they were out in the United Arab Emirates, and they flew at the Dubai Airshow, the Dubai World Aerobatic Games, the Al Ain International Airshow, and the Red Bull Air Races in Abu Dhabi. The aircraft were then shipped back here to take part in the European display season. They've been as far afield in the past as India and Japan.
And I can tell you, Ben, they really wowed the crowds. I was lucky to be at the Aerobatic show in December, and it was just a real privilege there. And once again, Breitling, tremendous supporters, not just in UK, but of so many aviation and air display events around the world. Well done, Breitling, and you can see now in this fabulous colour scheme.
So you can see the three aircraft have now separated.
And if you look very carefully, the girls now on the leading edge. It's almost as if they're sitting on the front end of the Titanic, looking out to sea and blowing into this incredibly strong breeze. Absolutely fearless and brave. Tremendous stuff. Give them a huge wave, everybody, whatever you've got. Hats, coats, umbrellas, ice creams, and they just love it. They can see you really clearly.
The girls, I think they're in the wind rider position, as they call it.
Absolutely. It used to be the Arabesque in the old days, Ben, and it's one of their favourites, that particular manoeuvre. Yes, you can imagine the hours of coordination required, because of course I've got to remind you that the girls have got no communication with each other whatever. They don't even have any communication other than sign language with the pilots. So hours of preparation going into this, not just amongst the pilots to get the formation correct, but of course amongst the girls to ensure that they get their timings right as well. And that is really very, very special, a really unique presentation and display from the Breitling Wingwalkers, but it's not over yet.
How are you watching that one?
Yes, running in now, we have the two-time World Ladies Aerobatic Champion from France. It's Aude lemordant.
And here you're in for a special treat, seeing the top end of aerobatic competitive work, and you can see it's almost impossible to talk through the number of manoeuvres that these pilots get through. Again, not just agility, experience and everything else, but also strength. This is Formula One style aerobatics, where you need an awful lot of fitness as well to ensure that you have the rigour to get through the manoeuvres. Going up into a launch back there.
This is the sort of freestyle display that aerobatic pilots will perform as part of their competitive work, and Aude has done plenty of that. She's 33 years old. She was born in Grenoble in eastern France, and she started flying gliders in the southern French Alps age just 14. It was while she was training to become a commercial pilot that she got hooked on aerobatics, and she's done very well in the airline world. She now flies for Air France, the French national airline, on its Boeing 777s.
Really displaying those the power to weight ratio of this extraordinary aircraft. You notice they're almost hovering in flight and using the power and propeller to great effect to maintain that extraordinary angle of attack.
Aude is a four-time French national champion between 2011 and 2014. And it was during that time, in 2013, that she took her first World Championship victory in the ladies category out in Texas. And last year, she repeated the dose on home soil during the World Aerobatic Championships held at Châteauroux near Paris. Aude is the first female pilot to fly in the colours of Breitling. Her mount, the extra EA330SC, 330 horsepower engine, and really outstanding performance. This is also the mount for the male members of the French national aerobatic team.
There, nothing, don't worry, nothing has gone wrong there. She's just using that, and that is a very painful manoeuvre, having tumbled out of the top there, then pushing outside to go back up into that outside loop, and that would have been very, very uncomfortable there. You know a little bit about G, but when you're pulling negative G, or rather you're pushing it, all the blood is rushing up to your head, almost popping your eyeballs out, and that is quite painful.
Aude started flying competition aerobatics in 2005, and in total she's now got some 7,000 flying hours to her name. This is the first time we've seen her on the British Airshow circuit, but she performs regularly in France.
Another good example of a knife-edge pass, but this time from a completely different class of aircraft, and that takes some agility as well. They make it look so simple, all of these pilots, whether it's jet or propeller, but that is really quite hard work. There's a reasonable amount of cross-controlling going on to complete these maneuvers. Many you'll see, the 4-point rolls, the slow rolls, all require a lot of agility across all three axes of the aircraft's manoeuvrability envelope. Well, really consummate performance. Not very often we get the chance to see a small solo aerobatic aircraft and less of the champions at the International Air Tattoo. And again, another really contrasting treat for us to enjoy. Aude now recovering the extra back onto terra firma. And that sort of workout, it seems quite short, but actually that workout will have been quite exhausting. And it's something you've got to train hard for, and you've got to do it several times a week.
Thank you very much indeed, George, and our thanks to Aude Lemordant, who's just landed her extra 330 SC. Now, the Air Tattoo over the years has welcomed a large number of nations to a British Air display for the first time, and we've just added a new one to the list in 2016 in the form of Croatia. And they're represented in the flying display by their national aerobatic team, and providing the commentary for us, I'm delighted to give a warm welcome to First Lieutenant Ivan Rendulic.